Part 3 of the Beatles anthology aired this evening right here on News Channel 5 and ABC. And if you watched, you noticed how the Beatles were terribly influenced by American rhythm and blues performers. But who, just who did the Beatles influence? Try just about everybody, including singer-songwriter Eric Carmen. Had a good chance to sit down with Eric one-on-one this week to talk about his impressions of the Fab Four.
What appeals to you about the Beatles?
The fact that they're British and that they're very talented without knowing how to read a word of music. And they have a good sense of humor. They're ordinary boys.
Ordinary boys? Not quite. The Beatles were who all young men across the country wanted to emulate, including a certain young man who first heard of the Fab Four while still in the 9th grade, Eric Carmen.
I was in the 9th grade. Most everyone that I know in rock and roll has got a similar story, but we all got into it for precisely the same reasons based on my talking to people over the years. It was to get girls. So I thought, boy, this is really cool. When I saw Hard Day's Night, the movie, I thought, if there's anyone in their right mind that doesn't want to do this, I would like to meet them. You know, I just couldn't imagine that every red-blooded kid with a guitar didn't want to be in that movie, didn't want to just switch places with one of those guys and live that.
And like that, he did, by starting the Raspberries and meeting one of his longtime idols in a very unusual way.
One day, you know, we had heard John was in the studio, but we hadn't actually seen him yet. And they had a rather oddly situated bathroom. And I was in the bathroom, and when I came out of the door, I just heard this big thunk. And as I opened the door, there's John on the floor. This is not the way I visualized my first meeting with a Beatle.
On the floor?
I knocked him down with the bathroom door.
A later meeting with John proved more complimentary.
Here I was ready to spout, but for you, there would be no me, and all, you know, all these things that you wanted to say to someone. But just as I stuck my hand out, he said, "Love your record. Ringo and I are going to do promotion. Fantastic. We absolutely loved it." And I was like, "I like yours too." Duh.
High praise, huh?
Yeah, he was an amazing, the most charismatic human being I've ever met. He was bowled you over.
And just like the Beatles and so many others who followed, the Raspberries too began to break up.
We were guys who had a lot in common at the moment that we got together, and we had a lot of goals and dreams that were the same. And over a period of years, we just kind of drifted into different directions. And at a certain point, it just made more sense for me to do what I wanted to do by myself. I have a song right now that's currently on the pop charts and the adult contemporary charts that I wrote for Peter Cetera, called Forever Tonight, and All By Myself is coming out in January by Celine Dion, with David Foster having produced it, and I suspect it's going to be a very big record.
Does he think the Fab Four were just a phenomenon, a flash in the pan?
There seems to be something universal about what they did, and in terms of will it be around 30 years from now, I suspect people will still be talking about it. I mean, Elvis is still around.
Eric Carmen's a very charming fellow. I enjoyed the interview. We spent a long time at his house. He lived in L.A. for a good number of years. Been living back in Cleveland hometown boy for some time now. Loves it. Lives on the far east side, way out there in...
On the snow.
Gates Mills. Yeah, he loves it.
That's great.